Welcome back to Midnight Chimes In, where I'm going to be giving a quick rundown of my initial thoughts on the new Doctor Who episode, The Power of the Doctor. So my expectations coming into this weren't especially high, given how this era of the show has been, and the fact that Legend of the Sea Devils didn't exactly leave a great taste in my mouth, but in the event I found myself watching Power of the Doctor and just massively enjoying it. That's not to say it's all good necessarily, but I think that might be the most I've ever enjoyed myself watching a Doctor Who episode, and that can paper over a lot of cracks. Even now as I write this script I still have a great big smile on my face, and I still have that Boney M song stuck in my head. Does it really make any sense that the Master felt the need to disguise himself as Rasputin? Probably not, but I don't really care because that set piece was just a gorgeous bit of television. I know his portrayal has been somewhat divisive among fans, but for me at least Sacha Dhawan is on his way to becoming the definitive Master at this point. Like, he's up there with Roger Delgado and Anthony Ainley as far as I'm concerned, with his manic energy and ability to be both hilarious and terrifying all at once. The Master's grand plan, as it turns out, involves using old Time Lord technology to force regenerate the Doctor into himself, which is actually a very inventive idea for a story and really feels like something the Master would do. Aside from being a neat callback to classic Who, which feels appropriate with the tone of this episode, it casts a bit more light on the Master's dynamic with the Doctor, in particular his self-loathing and apparent jealousy toward her. Also, that regeneration clip from the trailer being halfway into the episode, that was sneaky. Many already predicted the Doctor regenerating into David Tennant, we'll get onto that, but the Doctor regenerating into the Master, no one saw that coming to my knowledge. At first I didn't really buy the fact that the Daleks and Cybermen would collaborate with each other, especially from the Dalek side given their history, but having given it some more thought, and I believe Mr. TARDIS already made a similar point to this, in a world where people who claim to be feminists like J.K. Rowling will side with anti-abortionist Matt Walsh just because he shares a hatred of trans people, it seems fitting that the Daleks would form an alliance with the Cybermen in order to get at the Doctor. I like to think though that if the Master had succeeded, that allegiance wouldn't have lasted long, and they'd have gone back to knocking bits out of each other pretty quickly, because that's what fascists do. Yeah, to any gender-critical women who might be watching this, if Matt Walsh succeeds in eliminating trans people, he's going to come for you next. Getting back on topic though, one aspect of the Power of the Doctor that I didn't foresee was the sheer amount of callbacks and returning characters from previous eras and stories. We already knew Tegan and Ace were returning, but there were also appearances from David Bradley as the First Doctor, the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th Doctors with Paul McGann at his most gloriously sassy, Kate Stewart, the Fugitive Doctor, Graham, Vinder, Joe Grant, Melanie Bush, Ian Chesterton, and of course David Tennant. And there's probably someone that I've missed. Now if you are a regular viewer of this channel, then you'll know that I usually take quite a cynical view of fan service, especially because all too often in the Moffat era it felt like it was being used to prop up weak storytelling, and this has also been true in the Chibnall era to an extent. What makes the difference here, I think, is how the episode fully embraces and commits to its fan service elements. Like, there's a difference between having the 11th Doctor randomly say Braveheart Clara in the middle of the Crimson Horror for no reason, and actually bringing back Peter Davison alongside Janet Fielding and having them share a genuinely poignant moment which also ties to the overall theme of the episode about closure. And come on, seeing Sophie Aldred with her baseball bat out again, smacking bits out of Daleks, you've got to be deeply cynical not to at least smile at that. As I said earlier, I really enjoyed myself watching this episode, though I must admit it's probably not one of those so much for the casual viewer. So that brings us to the ending and the regeneration that everyone is talking about. Those of you who saw my reaction on the criticism of Doctor Who Without Bigotry Twitter account will know that I'm very lukewarm on the idea of David Tennant coming back to be the Doctor again. It just confirms all of my worst fears about the show riding on nostalgia. Not to mention it undermines all of that melodrama from Tennant's original departure about how he could do so much more and all of that. It would be one thing if it was just a one-off, but the fact Tennant has now been given multiple episodes and is being officially referred to as the 14th Doctor, that's just dumb. I appreciate that Ncuti Gatwa may not have been available for the anniversary, but come on, we used to laugh at people back in 2013 who wanted David Tennant to return as the Doctor. Russell T Davies is a smart guy and maybe he has a trick up his sleeve, but I don't know what he's playing at here, honestly. It's no longer 2010, and Doctor Who as a show needs to keep moving forward. This is stupid. So those were my thoughts on The Power of the Doctor and Jodie Whittaker's regeneration. I'm aware I've not been uploading in a while, but I do intend to get some more deep analytical content out soon hopefully, so stay tuned for that, and until then, I'm Midnight and I travel in space and time. and trains.